Hey everyone, ready for another deep dive? I've been getting so many questions about the law of attraction lately, and I thought, you know what? Let's explore this together.
It's definitely a hot topic.
It is. So today, we're going to be taking a deep dive into this popular YouTube podcast script called Unlocking the Power of the Law of Attraction. You know, that whole idea that, attracts like and your thoughts can shape your reality.
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. It's a concept that definitely gets people talking.
For sure. Some folks swear by it, others are, well, a little more skeptical. But hey, that's what makes it so interesting, right?
Absolutely. It's definitely worth exploring.
Okay, so before we jump into the how-tos and all that, let's break it down. What exactly does the law of attraction suggest?
Okay, so imagine this. You have two tuning forks. You strike one, and guess what? The other one, if it's tuned to the same frequency, it'll start vibrating too.
Interesting analogy.
Right. And it's kind of like that with the law of attraction. It suggests that your thoughts, your emotions, even your energy, they all emit a certain frequency.
Mm.
And the universe, well, it responds by attracting experiences that match that frequency. Kind of wild, right?
So it's not just wishful thinking, there's an energetic component to it.
Yeah, that's the idea. And this script, it actually dives into the practical steps you can take, but it also mentions something really interesting. The brain's reticular activating system. Ever heard of it? It's often called the RAS for short.
Hmm. RAS rings a bell. Remind me what it does again.
Think of it this way. You buy a new car, and suddenly you see that same car everywhere, right?
Oh yeah, all the time.
Exactly. Your brain is tuned to notice it more. And that's what the RAS does. It filters information based on what we focus on. The script kind of suggests that maybe, just maybe, the law of attraction works similarly, drawing experiences to us based on our dominant thoughts and feelings.
Oh, I see the connection. So is the script saying that the law of attraction is scientifically proven because of the RAS?
Not exactly. It hints at a possible link, but it doesn't really dive into the scientific side of things too deeply. It's more focused on, how you can actually use the law of attraction in your everyday life.
Gotcha. Now, that's what I'm really interested in. So how do we do it? Walk me through the steps. Is it as simple as just thinking happy thoughts all day long?
Well, it's a little more nuanced than that. The script lays out a three-step framework. And the first step is all about clarity. Just having vague desires like, I want to be happy, it's not really enough.
Makes sense. So I need to be super specific about what I want.
Yes, exactly. The script suggests that you need to define your goals really, really specifically.
Okay, so instead of I want a better job, it'd be more like I am a successful project manager leading a team at a tech startup, something like that.
Perfect example. The script even compares, I am building a fulfilling career as a writer to just saying, I want to be happy. See the difference?
Oh, yeah, totally. Way more specific and actionable.
Exactly. That first statement, it's way more powerful because it's focused and actionable. It's not just a vague wish floating around in your head.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. So clarity is step one. What's next? Do I just write down my super specific goal on a sticky note and call it a day?
Well, you could try that, but the script says there's more to it. The second step is what they call emotional alignment.
Emotional alignment. Sounds kind of deep. What does that even mean?
It's about feeling the desired outcome as if it's already happened. It's about getting yourself into that state of already having what you want. And visualization is a big part of that. Close your eyes, imagine yourself in that dream job. Really feel it, the excitement, the satisfaction.
Oh, okay. I'm getting it. So I'm not just saying the words. I'm really embodying the feeling of already having achieved my goal.
You got it. You're essentially sending a powerful message to the universe, aligning your emotional frequency with your desired outcome. Remember those tuning forks? It's like tuning the second one to resonate with the first.
Okay, I'm starting to see how this could work. But to be totally honest, I sometimes struggle to stay positive. Especially when life throws those curveballs.
Oh, tell me about it. Life definitely has a way of testing our positive vibes.
No?
And you know what? That's actually something the host in the YouTube podcast addressed directly. Someone in their audience asked them, how do I stay positive when, life keeps throwing curveballs?
Oh, I bet a lot of people wonder that. So what do they say? Just bottle up all the negative feelings?
Actually, they suggested the opposite. Acknowledge those negative feelings.
Yeah.
Let yourself feel them, but then try to see if you can reframe them, shift your perspective a bit. Instead of asking, why is this happening to me? Oh, try asking, what is this trying to teach me? It's about finding that opportunity for growth, even in the middle of a tough situation.
That's a good point. Sometimes those setbacks, they really do lead to the biggest breakthroughs.
Exactly. And that brings us to the third step in the framework. It's probably the most obvious one, but it's also the one a lot of people seem to miss. It's all about taking action. Inspired action, that is.
So I can visualize myself winning the lottery all day long, but I probably still need to go buy a ticket, right?
You got it. The universe might be on your side, but you still have to meet it halfway. Put in the work. The script uses a great analogy. The universe might open the door, but you got to be the one to walk through it.
Love that. So it's about aligning your actions with your goals.
Exactly. And it gives some really good examples like applying for that dream job, networking with people, even starting a side hustle. It's about making things happen, not just sitting around and hoping for the best.
Totally. Okay, so we've got clarity, emotional alignment, and inspired action. Sounds pretty straightforward so far, but I'm guessing there are probably some common misconceptions about the law of attraction, things people get wrong.
Oh, you bet. And the YouTube podcast hosts, they actually debunk some of those myths. They get into some really interesting stuff.
Ooh, I love a good myth-busting session. All right, let's hear it. What's the first one they tackle?
Well, the first myth they debunk is this idea that all you need to do is think positive. That's it. That's all it takes.
Oh, yeah, I think we've all been there. Like, if I just visualize winning the lottery hard enough, it'll magically happen. No need to buy a ticket or anything.
Uh-huh, exactly. But as we just talked about, action, inspired action is key. Positive thinking, sure, it can set the stage, can create momentum, but you got to meet the universe halfway. You know what I mean?
So it's more of a collaboration. You're putting out the intention, taking the steps, but also like being open to how the universe might bring it all together.
You got it. Now, the second myth the script tackles, it's this idea that the law of attraction, it's all about manifesting like material possessions.
So it's not just about getting that fancy car or that dream house.
Well, those things can be fun to visualize, I'm not going to lie. But the script really emphasizes that the real power, it lies in attracting those positive feelings, like love, joy, peace, fulfillment. That's where the real magic happens.
Okay, that resonates with me. It's about attracting a state of being, not just stuff. What's the third myth?
The third myth is all about timing. The script, it really emphasizes this idea that just because something doesn't happen right away doesn't mean it's not going to happen at all.
So patience is a virtue when it comes to the law of attraction.
Absolutely. The universe, it might have a different timeline in mind. And, sometimes what we think we want, well, it might not actually be what's best for us in the long run. And the script actually shares this really cool personal anecdote from the host about how they were trying to manifest a specific job.
Ooh, I love a good personal story. What happened?
So the host, they did all the right things, the visualization, the affirmations, all that. But then the job just, it fell through, didn't work out. Yeah, I know, right? They were definitely disappointed at first. But guess what? A few months later, something even better came along, an opportunity they hadn't even considered before. It was like the perfect fit.
Wow, that's amazing. Like sometimes what we think is a no is actually a redirection to something even better. It's like the universe has got our back even when we can't see it.
Right. It's pretty cool when you think about it. But okay, that brings up a good point. What about those times when you're trying so hard to be positive, you're taking action, but you just feel stuck, like nothing's moving?
Yeah, been there. What do you do then?
Well, the script actually has a whole section on dealing with those challenging moments. And you know what? They actually included another question from the audience. And it was something like, how do I stay positive when it feels like life keeps throwing me curveballs, one after another?
Ooh, that is so relatable. Okay, what did the host say? How do you stay positive when it feels like everything's going wrong?
They basically went back to that idea of reframing, acknowledging those negative feelings, not trying to push them away, but then trying to see them from a different angle. Like shifting that question from, why is this happening to me, to what is this trying to teach me? What can I learn from this?
Yeah, it's like turning those challenges into opportunities for growth.
Exactly. And remember that gratitude practice we were talking about earlier? The script emphasizes how powerful it can be to keep a gratitude journal.
Oh, yeah, I've tried that before. It's amazing how much just taking a few minutes each day to appreciate the good things, it can really shift your perspective.
Right. It's such a simple but powerful practice. It helps you focus on what you have, not what you lack. And that can really make a difference in terms of, attracting more good things into your life.
It all comes back to that, doesn't it? The script seems to offer a pretty balanced perspective on the law of attraction. It acknowledges that it's not just about wishful thinking. It's about clarity, action, and being willing to trust the process, even when things get tough.
Totally. The holistic approach. But there was one point I wanted to circle back to, something that really caught my attention. Remember when the script mentioned the reticular activating system, that RAS thing?
Oh, yeah, the brain filter. I was hoping we'd get back to that.
Me too. So, as we mentioned before, the RAS, it's basically this filter in our brain that helps us focus on certain information while kind of ignoring other stuff. It's why, like, we suddenly see that new car we bought everywhere we go.
Right, right. So how does this connect to the law of attraction?
Well, if the law of attraction is all about aligning our thoughts and feelings with what we want, then maybe, just maybe, the RAS, it's playing a role in bringing those desires into reality by making us more aware of opportunities, resources, things that we might have missed otherwise.
Oh, that's fascinating. It's like we're priming our brains to notice things that are aligned with our goals. But okay, here's a thought. Isn't there a risk of like getting too focused on what we want and missing out on other possibilities, other paths? Like getting tunnel vision.
That's such a good point. And you know what? It's actually something the script didn't really address directly. It's great to be clear and focused, but there's also this balance, right? You don't want to get so fixated on one specific outcome that you close yourself off to other amazing opportunities that might be even better suited to you.
I see what you mean. It's about being intentional, yes, but also remaining open to the unexpected, to those twists and turns that life throws our way.
Exactly. And that's where this idea of trusting the process comes in. We might not always get why things happen the way they do, but if we can approach life with a sense of curiosity and openness, those detours, they might just lead us to something even more fulfilling than we could have ever imagined.
It's like that saying, sometimes when you think you're lost, you're actually right where you need to be.
I love that. And you know, it reminds me of that story the host shared about the job manifestation. What seemed like a setback, it turned out to be a redirection towards something even better.
Huh.
Sometimes the universe has a bigger plan.
Totally. Okay, so we've been talking a lot about the positive side of things, but I'm curious, what about those times when negative thoughts just keep popping up? Is there anything in the script about how to handle those?
You know, the script didn't really dive into specific techniques, but they did emphasize that it's important to acknowledge those negative thoughts.
Whoa.
Not try to ignore them or push them away, but then consciously choose to reframe them.
So instead of dwelling on why is this happening to me, it's more about asking, what can I learn from this? How can I grow from this experience?
Exactly. It's a subtle shift, but it can make a huge difference. And remember that gratitude practice we talked about? That can be a powerful tool for shifting your focus away from those negative thought patterns.
Right. So if I catch myself spiraling, I could take a moment to appreciate something good in my life. It could be something big or small, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Maybe it's a sunny day, a delicious meal, a
Mhm.
kind gesture from a stranger, anything that brings a little spark of joy. Gratitude, it's like this amazing energy booster. It can really help to raise your vibration.
I love that. Okay, this has been such an insightful deep dive. We've covered so much ground. We explored the basic principles of the law of attraction. We talked about practical techniques. We even dove into some of the common pitfalls. I feel like I have a much better understanding of how this all works now. How about you? What's been the most impactful takeaway for you?
You know, what really resonated with me is this idea that the law of attraction, it's not about forcing things to happen. It's more about aligning yourself with what you truly desire, taking inspired action and then trusting that the universe is working its magic.
It's like a dance. You're leading, but you're also allowing yourself to be led. It's about surrendering to the flow of life while also actively participating in shaping your reality.
Beautifully said. It's about that balance between intention and surrender, action and trust.
Okay, as we wrap up this awesome deep dive, is there a final thought-provoking question you want to leave our listeners with? Something for them to ponder as they continue to explore the law of attraction.
Let me see. The script really emphasized the power of feelings, right? So I'd ask our listeners to consider, what are some core feelings you want to cultivate in your life? And then think about this. What are some small actions you can take today to start aligning with those feelings? It doesn't have to be anything big, just something to get the ball rolling.
I love that. And remember, even those small actions, they can create big ripples. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the law of attraction. We hope you've gained some valuable insights and feel empowered to create the life you truly desire.
Okay, so we've talked about the good stuff, but let's get real for a second. What about those pitfalls,
Yeah.
those mistakes people make when they're trying to make this law of attraction thing work for them?
Yeah, good point. It's not always smooth sailing, right?
Right. So what are some of those common traps?
Well, one thing the script mentions is like getting so laser focused on a specific outcome that you kind of block out other
Oh,
possibilities.
yeah, like tunnel vision, right. Exactly. You're so fixated on one thing, you might miss out on other amazing opportunities that are maybe even better suited for you.
So it's like you got to be clear about what you want, but also like kind of detached from the outcome.
Yes, detachment is key. And another trap people fall into is, getting caught up in this cycle of always trying to manifest material things.
Like always focused on the stuff. So instead of visualizing that new car, maybe I should be like visualizing more inner peace or stronger connections with my loved ones.
Now you're getting it. The script really emphasizes that the most fulfilling things in life, they're not always, things you can buy. It's about those deeper, richer experiences.
That's so true. Okay, but what about when it feels like nothing's happening, no matter how much you visualize or put yourself out there?
Ah, yeah. Impatience. It's a big one.
We want everything right now.
Right. But the universe, it doesn't always work on our timeline.
Right.
Sometimes it takes a little longer than we'd like. So it's about trusting the process, having faith that things are unfolding as they should, even if we don't see immediate results. Remember that story the host told about manifesting that job? Sometimes those delays, those detours, they're actually leading us to something even better.
I needed to hear that today.
We all do sometimes. But okay, what about those pesky negative thoughts? The ones that just keep creeping in and messing with your vibe. Any advice from the script on how to deal with those?
Because those are tough.
They are. And the script, it doesn't get super specific, but it emphasizes the importance of, acknowledging those thoughts. Not trying to pretend they're not there, but not letting them take over either. And then see if you can reframe them.
Reframing. Okay, so instead of why is this happening to me, it's more like, okay, what can I learn from this? How can I grow from this experience?
Exactly. It's about shifting your perspective, looking for the opportunity, even in the middle of the challenge. And don't forget about that gratitude practice. It's seriously powerful for shifting your focus away from the negative and towards the positive.
So simple, yet so powerful. I'm going to try that. This whole conversation has been amazing. I feel like I've learned so much about the law of attraction, not just the theory, but like practical stuff I can actually use. What about you? What's been the biggest takeaway for you?
What really stood out for me is that the law of attraction, it's not about control. It's not about forcing the universe to give you what you want. It's more about like aligning yourself with your desires, taking action, and then trusting, having that faith that things are unfolding as they should.
I love that. It's about surrender, but it's also about like active participation. You're not just sitting back and waiting for things to happen. You're co-creating your reality with the universe.
Yes, it's a beautiful partnership.
Okay, well, as we wrap up this deep dive, is there one last thought you want to leave our listeners with? Something to ponder as they continue to explore this whole law of attraction thing?
Sure. The script really hammered home the power of feelings, right? So I would just ask our listeners to think about this. What are those core feelings you want to experience more of in your life? And then what are some small actions, even tiny ones, you can take today, right now, to start aligning with those feelings?
That is such a great question. And I remember, everyone, even those tiny actions, they can create big, amazing ripples. Thanks for joining us on this journey into the law of attraction. We hope you feel inspired and ready to create the life you truly desire.